Vayaminu b'Hashem u'Moshe avdo. And they had faith, they believed in Hashem and Moshe his servant. These are some of the strongest words that we will read on Shvi Shel Pesach, that we'll read tomorrow. The Jewish people had faith. They believed in Hashem, they believed in Moshe. Vayaminu b'Hashem u'Moshe avdo. The obvious question is, and until now they didn't? After everything that happened in Egypt, the Eser Makos, the 10 plagues, they didn't believe? Only now they believed? Only after they went through Yam Suf did they believe in Hashem? What happened here? And frankly, why did it have to be so complicated? Why did it have to be so difficult? If God is already doing miracles, bringing fiery hail and killing firstborns and frogs and lice and blood, cattle plague, etc., take the Jewish people out of Egypt, fly them into Israel, first class for everybody, and that's it. Why do they have to go through the desert? Oh, and they can't go straight, that they can't because they're worried about the Plishtim, and then the Egyptians are pursuing them, and they're panicked. Maybe some of them say we should go back to Egypt, and some say we should fight, and they jump into the Yam Suf, and Nashim ben Aminadav, the water is up to his neck, and finally it opens, and the Jewish people run through on the dry land, and the Egyptians drown. Why? Why so complicated? And they left in such a rush that they didn't have time to bring sandwiches with them. There was not time to bring Seder L'Derech. They had to put dough on their backs. Look what it's done to our psyches. Now, anytime a Jew travels 15 minutes, he's got 16 shopping bags filled with food because, God forbid, somebody might go hungry. We all know, you go on a Chol Hamoed trip and you just play that spot the Jew game, you can tell right away by the food. Why? Why'd it have to be so difficult? Let them go in a peaceful fashion and let them go straight to Israel. Why not this whole crazy situation? And on the contrary, after things being so difficult, you would think that they would have less faith, less belief. But after all this, by Aminu Hashem of Moshe Avdo, what's going on here? Many of us will recite Yizkor on the last day of Pesach. We'll recite Yizkor, we'll remember fathers and mothers, husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, and even sons and daughters that are no longer with us. And I think for most of us, it's fair to say we miss them. And we have many different kinds of memories. When I recite Yizkor, I remember my father's Atzal, and one kind of memory that I have is the memories of going on trips. Not that we went on so many trips, but the trips that we went on were memorable. And with the advent of time, now being on the parent side of things, going with my own children and my own family on trips every once in a rare while, I have a greater appreciation for the efforts that they put in. They didn't have Waze, they didn't have other advantages that we have. And those were wonderful, wonderful experiences. But very often, on trips, and I imagine many of you have the same experience, you have to adapt. Sometimes you get a flat tire. Sometimes the hotel reservation you made fell through, or it's not a hotel you would want to stay in. Sometimes the event that you signed up for is canceled. Almost everybody has adventures that go along with their trips. And hopefully, you have the grit, the resolve, the creativity, the family connectivity to work through it. And you end up with wonderful memories. I certainly have wonderful memories from those trips. And yes, sometimes from having to adapt, and sometimes precisely because things didn't go the way we wanted them to, because of the weather or other circumstances. And it strengthened the relationship. It was an opportunity to spend time out of our home environment. It was different. Studies have shown that travel actually is very beneficial, particularly for youth. The opportunity to go someplace different actually helps in development, intellectual capacity. It's a wonderful thing. And I think for a nascent Jewish people, it was very difficult to leave. If you calculate all the Yotzei Mitzrayim, all those who left Egypt, men, women, children, old, our commentators suggest there was about 2 million people that left Egypt. Not so easy to travel with 2 million people in a desert. But they did it. And they didn't go in the straight route. And they had to jump into the sea. But through it all, Hashem and Moshe were there. And Hashem and Moshe guided them and helped them, and they persevered. And it's precisely because it wasn't simple, it wasn't straight, that they realized that Hashem and Moshe aren't giving up on them, and that they will overcome. Vayaminu b'Hashem u'v'Moshe avdo. I look back at those trips that I went on, and they gave me a greater appreciation, a greater understanding of how devoted and dedicated our parents were to me and to my sisters. They probably spent money that they didn't have in order for us to have fun experiences, unique, enjoyable opportunities. And they were formative. And yes, the ability to navigate unexpected surprises, to see that in action actually was remarkable. And it made me have a greater sense that my parents will always be there for me, that they will protect me, that they will love me, that they will do what's needed. Those were wonderful experiences. And it taught me that these are experiences that we should try to provide for our own children. And that it's not only about getting to the final destination. That in all of life we are traveling. And it's not just about getting there. It's not just about graduating from school. It's not just about getting the job. It's not just about getting the promotion, about getting the house. No. It's about the challenge of the chase. It's about making the process meaningful. It's how you deal with it in the moment. Not just focusing on getting there. Of course you have to accomplish and achieve, of course. But you have to be able, like the Jewish people when they left Egypt, you have to be able to navigate the twists and turns and to be able to appreciate the blessings in those moments of life. Because most of life is not about getting there. The milestones are few. It's about what you do in the process. And who's there with you, and who's there to support and encourage you. And it's our loved ones, our parents, our spouses, our siblings, and our children, for whom we say Yizkor, they were with us. And even if they are physically not with us, but we are spiritually tethered to them. And they are with us, and they are here for us. We just have to hear the echoes of encouragement. It is my hope that we continue to hear, that we continue to remember our loved ones and how they were with us during all the processes of life, and that we pay it forward, and that we make sure that we are available for others until the time that we all travel together to the Holy Land for the ultimate redemption. May it be, Mary, Amen.